Merry almost Christmas, Browns fans. We're celebrating so many things right now. I've got with me my friend Mike Ristano at
Hey,
Bonzo 1273. It is he's been generous enough to come on to the Wednesday show on his birthday. Big birthday, happy birthday, I should say, to you, Mike.
thank you very much, and thank you to you guys in the chat. Appreciate it. Another year. It's wasn't the year any of us were hoping for, but at least our brownies are looking good, 8-3.
Yep.
So in a year of not many happy things, we certainly have a lot to be happy for with our brownies. So yeah, good.
Unbelievable 8-3. A couple guys up in the chat: Mario G, Aaron, Noel Myers, DF Sports, Xander Hernandez, Typical Gamer 2002. Guys, thanks for being with us here on this magical first place wild card Ravens losing Wednesday show. So many interesting and fun things to talk about.
I didn't even
That
think of that.
that Jags game was a doozy. Almost lost my mind several times during that Jags game. But as we talked about many times, that soft spot in the schedule coming out of the bye with the Eagles, the Texans, and the Jags was we did it. We passed the test.
Yeah,
We might not have passed the test in a very pretty way, but we passed the test.
yeah, they
So
grinded it out.
it's just incredible. Now we've got somewhat of a challenge here, I guess you could say, over the next couple weeks with the Titans, a very dangerous Titans team, and followed by I don't know what's going on with the Ravens right now with the COVID situation. You just assume Lamar's going to be back for that. However, it's going to be in Cleveland. And you know what? They fought to the very end against the Steelers. They were getting beat pretty good. Joe Hayden with the pick six. That was pretty incredible to see. And when you see something like that, you got to sit there and go, if he could do it for the Steelers, we could have kept him in Cleveland. We could have kept him here to do it for us as well. I'm happy for Joe Hayden. He was a big positive Browns guy when he was here. Big city of Cleveland positive guy. Never had anything bad to say about us when he left either. And ended up going to the rival team. And that's just what happens as part of the business. But he had probably his best game. I think he's like 43rd or something like that, PFF, for corners. So
Take a peek.
that's definitely going to jump up a little bit. And the Steelers stay undefeated, which is, it's mind-boggling to me that the Steelers are an undefeated team right now. I was picking them to be, competing with the Bengals for the bottom, and it just goes to show how important it is to have a comfortable veteran quarterback who understands the speed of the game, understands situationally what he needs to do, has players on both sides of the ball that can be trusted to do their job. Were you watching the end of that Ravens Steelers game?
Yeah, I did. I was able. I was watching it sporadically here and there. For the first three quarters, and then I guess I caught the last 4 minutes. And it's funny how, well, first off, Joe Hayden, he is I just had it, where'd it go? 45th ranked DB, corner, I should say, according to PFF. But really what I was going to say was the one thing that really caught my eye, and it happened so quick, and they touched on it, and then they just, obviously they got back into the game, but that didn't look good for Bud Dupree. That to me, and I don't know if you saw it, Mike, but that looked like a season-ending knee injury, if you will. Um,
I did not see that.
yeah, so he was rushing off the edge, and he he was blocked, but he wasn't blocked, extremely hard. It was more of after because I watched it a couple times, I rewound it a couple times. It looked like he just when he planted his foot was sort of when the contact happened, and
Right.
it just gave out really really ugly. But what I find interesting about that is, I mean, Bud Dupree, for all intent and purposes, has had a really solid year, and I think he's really been the key to helping T.J. Watt, um, you know, just dominate on the other side. He's the first ranked defensive end with a 92 PFF score. But I guess what I was really getting at is what I find interesting is if I said to you, what do you think Bud Dupree? Where do you think he's ranked out of the defensive ends in the NFL, and what would you think that his PFF score is? I really would be hard pressed to believe that you would think that.
Wait, is he listed as a defensive end or a linebacker?
He is
And then also is TJ listed as a defensive end or linebacker?
both as ends,
Really?
and yep. And if I told you that Bud Dupree had a PFF score of a 58 and he was the 73rd best out of 106, you would never think that was true.
No. Well, I mean, Bud Dupree's a linebacker,
Yeah,
and
I mean, for all
TJ
intent.
TJ TJ's a linebacker too. But if that's they have him listed, that's odd.
Yeah,
But I guess TJ could technically play end, but I mean, he's more
yeah.
of a
With
linebacker.
with that 92.1 or two or whatever it is, he could
I
play.
mean, he's unbelievable.
You know what's funny, and I'm nothing against Miles or anything like that. So if you're listening, that's not necessarily where I'm going with this. But what I find interesting is no matter who the Steelers play, whoever their opponent is, TJ Watt is wreaking havoc at least one or two plays a series. Like you never really watch a Steeler game and say, oh, I haven't seen TJ do anything, uh, for a while now in the
Hmm.
game. And I think that you know having someone like Dupree on the other side absolutely helps. And I guess what I'm hoping for is that it Vernon's big games recently, that they're not an anomaly, and now he's got his legs under him, he's healthy, he's actually, and I don't want to, let me knock on wood, but I mean, I think maybe we're starting to see the Olivier Vernon that we thought we were getting from New York.
Yeah.
And if that is the case, wow, I can't wait to see what this defensive line is going to look like here in the next couple games, if with Miles back and Vernon you know playing the way that he is.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's the big thing with Olivier. It's just that he's been so streaky. It's
Yeah,
like he's either injured or or not really a factor in a game, or that he blows up and he has a big giant game, and then he's kind of like not really a factor again. And if we could get that, I think that's the key. It's the consistency. I'd like to see a little bit more consistency out of everybody on defense.
yeah,
And I think that is one of the things that stands out to me about Miles. I also think Miles is, I mean, he's a down lineman, right? So it is a little bit easier to scheme against that because you can easily just be like, whatever side he's on, make sure you have a running back over there, or have the guard check him really quick too.
yeah,
Whereas with TJ, he can move around. So and Aaron Donald as well, he moves around a lot. So
yeah,
it's like when you're comparing him to those guys, it's not apples to apples comparison. Um, but I will say, I think that Miles, if you could see how big of an impact and how big of a loss that we had not having him and Denzel Ward in there against Mike Glennon coming,
right.
they brought him in from the moon, and he looked like a pro quarter. He looked like a
Yeah,
very legitimate backup quarterback,
he was solid.
not starting quarterback, but very legitimate backup, and with not a single wide receiver that anybody can really name. a very good, just out of nowhere running back.
Yeah. And that
But
was our fear last week, if you remember. We knew that Glennon could have a game like he showed,
yep,
and we knew that Robinson was going to be a threat. And for the most part, I mean, they neutralized him, but I mean, Glennon played the way we feared he would play, and luckily we were able to win. But I mean,
yep.
you gotta. It's all about gutting it out and finishing in this league, and it doesn't. I mean, we hear it all the time. It's cliche, but it doesn't matter how ugly the win is. You are what your record says you are, and right now, it's irrelevant. Who we don't control who they put in front of us, and right now, we're 8-3, and I found, I don't know if you caught this, but when they were at the end of the game here, they were showing the Ravens' remaining schedule or whatnot, and
Mm-hmm.
Collinsworth circled our game and was like, oh, this is the big one, 8-3 Browns, and they're not exactly lighting up the scoreboard. And it's like, come on, guy. Like, did you see the conditions we were playing in prior to last week? And we still put 25 plus points up last week. So I mean, to say that we're not scoring, so to speak. I mean,
27
we've
points in ideal conditions. 27
yeah,
points for all intents and purposes should win you football games. That's
yep,
enough to win you games. And then the week before that, 22 in horrendous conditions.
yeah.
And
I
then
mean,
10 in horrendous conditions. And then a bad 6 would kind of, and that was the worst probably of them all.
yep,
And you know what? It is what it is. We're 8-3. We're going to be playing a I don't know, 6-5. Who do they play next? I think they have an easier game next.
the Ravens.
Cowboys. Yeah.
Yep, Tuesday
So
night, which is going to be a short week now for against us because they
right.
pushed that out to Tuesday, and then they're going to turn around and they get us on Monday. So
Is Lamar going to be back for that? Because he had COVID, right? It's
yep,
not like a COVID watch list or anything. He has it.
yep,
So, and if it's a short week, I don't know if he'll be back for that. RG3 looks like he's out.
yeah.
And, so you're going with, the kid from Penn State, which is,
McSorley, yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. I mean, he didn't look horrible.
No, that was a nice throw to Brown.
Yeah. I mean, anybody's that wide open is probably going to have a chance to go to the house, but it'll be interesting to see what he can do with a full 4 quarters.
Yeah,
I don't expect him to light it up, but if you're going to play against anybody, Cowboys are probably one of those teams you can score points against, so it might not be that bad of it. So they could be 7-5 at the point where we play them. And for all intents and purposes, if I'm being honest with myself, I did not have this Titans game down as a win.
yeah,
So we can afford to lose one. And based off of if we play the way we played against the Jags from a defensive standpoint, probably can bet we're going to lose this game against the Titans. But
yeah.
we will have Miles back.
Yeah. It's so frustrating because this whole year, and I might have tweeted it out yesterday or the day before or something like that, but it's just been and I mean, it's frustrating for everybody. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, just being such a, the way that we follow this team, it's like as soon as we get somebody back, we lose somebody else, whether it to be injury
Yep.
or to COVID. It's like, oh, great, Miles is going to be coming back. Oh, wait, now Denzel's got a calf. All right, great. All right, well, now Miles will be back. We'll weather the storm with losing Ward, and then Ronnie Harrison goes out on the first play, and now Harrison he's out for 4 to 6
Yeah,
weeks.
we're
So it's
hoping that
like,
we might have him back for the end of the season.
yeah, and I mean, from what we understand, there were no broken bones, but I mean, there's something going on there. He looked okay cleaning the snow off his car, which was kind of
Yeah.
made me chuckle the other day. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping, and again, I mean, it was Glennon and not very many offensive, wide receiver, tight end threats on Sunday.
Yep.
So Kevin Johnson played well. He held his own, and I just hope that we can, we could cover like that again this week, and maybe off chance, I know they said that his calf was feeling better than it felt better later in the week than it did that Monday that he reported it. So, maybe there's a chance. I would think that if there wasn't a chance that it might not have been as severe, that he could come back maybe for the Monday night game against the Ravens, that they wouldn't have hesitated and they would have put him on the IR for 3 games. So
Mhm.
I think there's a chance that we might get Ward. I think I don't know if I don't know. You look at the Titans, and I mean they have AJ Brown and a couple other guys, and then you look at the Ravens, and they got Andrews and Brown, but I mean Brown's hit or miss. Sneed. I don't know if we
I
necessarily.
think Sneed's out.
Is he out? So I, I,
Pretty
I
sure
don't
he's
think
COVID.
I don't think minus Ward kills us against the next two opponents. It's like if it was the Steelers, I think we'd be in deep shit. But I think with these next two, we could get away with not having him. And Carl Joseph has to step up now.
Yeah, he does. Because looking at the Tennessee Titans offense, they have the third best running offense in the league. We are number one.
Yep.
From a passing perspective, they are, I believe, they're middle of the road in passing yards per game. I think they were somewhere around like 14 or something. No, they're a little bit further down. They're probably more like 20. And then just overall yards per game, they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're eighth. They have a good
And
offense.
what's wild is why can't I think of his name? All Santana Hill.
Mm-hmm.
He only has 4 picks all year.
He's been playing efficient.
Yeah, I mean 4 picks at this time of the year. I mean it's not like he missed time. I mean that is it's a testament to his play, really.
Well, the good thing is their defense is a little suspect.
Mm-hmm.
They give up a lot of yards. They're one of the worst teams at back half of the league. Our defense is now right in the middle.
Yeah.
So surprisingly, we've done better there. From a passing perspective, the Titans are 32, 31, 30, 29, 28th. It's pretty bad. From a rushing perspective, Tennessee's like, I don't know, something like 16. And then points per game, we're about even, right around 20, 21. It's gonna be a close matched game.
Oh yeah.
It's just the injuries and COVID stuff that kind of scare me a little bit.
Yeah, you don't know.
That's the thing that could go either way. But looking at how we played against the Texans, Eagles, and then the 1-9 Jags, now 1-10. It doesn't feel good going into the Titans. It's not like we're blowing those teams away and knocking them out of the wall. We're winning football games, And as we talk about a lot, bad teams lose to good teams. Good teams beat bad teams. And we have proven we passed that test that we can beat bad teams. Now we have to prove again that we can beat a good team, a division leading team, and a team that's not unbeatable. The Bengals beat them, right? Put up 31 against them.
Yeah.
Looking at the last couple games, though, the Titans beat the Colts, good team. Ravens, decent team. They lost to the Colts, pretty bad. They beat the Bears. They lost to the Bengals. So they've kind of been, up and down as well. I don't know what team really the Titans are. Looking at, they went and they beat the Ravens away. Then they beat the Colts away. Right? So they're a little hotter, I would say, than us right now. And I don't know from an injury and COVID perspective where they stand either. So they could be closer to full strength.
And like you said, though, I mean, it's all a crapshoot right now because I mean, and I don't say this to wish harm on anybody. It's just a fact of 2020 NFL football. But I mean, as we're seeing with with our squad, I mean Thursday they could shut down their facility and Derrick Henry and whoever could be positive. Like you don't even know. Like
You're right.
it's just all an absolute crapshoot this year. And I'm just, and I bet you would agree with me. It's like I cringe every morning before I get up and check
Check the
social
news.
media because it's like every other day, facilities closed. You know,
Another coach has it.
yeah,
I saw that on the
yeah.
Browns.
So, yep. So it's I don't know. I just what a what a phenomenal job by Stefanski, coaching and
Yeah.
essentially coaching through a pandemic, and not even and when I say coaching through a pandemic, I don't mean the X's and O's parts. That's separate. He's coaching the X's and O's part, but he's also coaching, you know, how to get through week to week, just life in the NFL and in that facility in this year.
He's doing a fantastic job. I mean,
Yeah.
was it you who tweeted out about all those coaches, first year coaches?
No, but I might have retweeted it, but
Yeah, it was somebody. It might have been my dad then that sent it to me about the head coaches, the first year head coaches, and they're all losing records, and Kevin Stefanski's sitting there at 8-3.
yeah.
If you can't give, I know Tomlin. I mean, to be 11-0 is pretty amazing, and you almost can't take that away from him either. But the Steelers being 11-0 and versus the Browns being 8-3, I'd give it to Stefanski.
Yeah.
Um,
And I just little off topic real quick. I just saw the Mike Garofalo's tweet just came through that the initial test on Bud Dupree indicates his ACL.
oof.
So that's a big blow
That
to that
is.
defense.
Well, you know what? And I'm not. I don't wish injury on anyone, and I certainly don't wish COVID or anything like that. Because honestly, for the Titans at least, I want to see what we're made of now. I want to see what we've got because we got smacked by the Ravens and Steelers earlier in the season, and all away. I mean, and this is away too. So like, this isn't going to be the true test, but it's going to be another test.
Yeah.
I want to see what we got. So I'm not. I hope that they are healthy because this isn't a must-win game by any means. This is just we got over the hump, right? We're playing with house money.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with the Steelers, I'm not saying that I'm happy about it, but you know what? If they have to experience this too, good. The Ravens are experiencing it now. There's a lot. I don't know. I follow like Ingraven vids on YouTube. And he had a live stream for the whole game. He's doing commentary. He had like 600, 700, 800 people watching him. It was incredible. Which is, by the way, it is technically a violation of the NFL like permissioning, because you know how they do that. No, you can't have any descriptions or anything.
Yeah.
But whatever, he's doing it and killing it, and he's a really nice guy.
That saying that you memorized as a kid, like as soon as the game would end, you'd the express written consent of
exactly. And but man, the Ravens fans are going ballistic. They're talking about blowing the whole thing up. They're talking about getting rid of Hardball. They're talking about finding themselves a real they're calling him a real quarterback. It's time to get a real quarterback. And for me, I'm looking at this and I'm like,
the league MVP.
This is what I've said from the very beginning. The same thing happened with RG3 when he came onto the scene and was running the option and just going nuts. And his athletic ability was just above and beyond everybody else. I mean, I went to college with Michael Vick. I saw it. If you're the fastest guy on the field by a long shot and you're the quarterback, you have an advantage. The problem is these guys are enormous. And it doesn't even take a big shot. It just takes somebody rolling over you the wrong way. 300-pound guys.
Yeah.
or 270-pound guys that can run a 4.5. If you're running a 4.3, good for you. But I mean, that margin of error is only so big. And when it finally catches up with Lamar, I'm sorry, but that dude cannot. Like, I think I could throw as accurate, if not more accurate, football than Lamar Jackson at this point in my life. And all I did was play JV quarterback, right? And that's about what Lamar's got. So that is going to be a problem long term with them. And they even talked about it on the commentators were talking about it during the game, that they're like, no, we're going all in. If we're going to go with Lamar Jackson, if we're going to tune our offense to be this way, we need to get a guy who's going to back it up just to be that insurance policy to allow us to continue it along the way. That's why they went so heavy after RG3. But as you see, I mean, it all catches up to you. RG3, again, I think he popped his hamstring in the first half. Like when he was running out of bounds on that one play, he came up limp going out of bounds on that one. So my point is, I don't want anybody to get injured. I want to get everyone's best, because when you get to the playoffs, right? You know who you're going to play. You're going to be playing against the Chiefs, right? You're going to be playing against teams like that, and you might get lucky with an injury with one team, but you're not going to get lucky with an injury all the way till winning the Super Bowl. You're going to play either at an AFC Championship level team that is elite, or then the NFC champion team who's also going to be elite, right? And you can't just rest on, well, maybe, Derrick Henry will get COVID,
Right.
As great as that could be, because it would give us another win. And I get it. I'm with everybody. I mean, being 8-3, like Ken Carman, tweeted it out. He'd rather be excited about being 8-3 than have to look for the silver linings in a 3-8 team.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
And I totally agree with this. This is a complete foreign concept to me. And then we got all these other people out there still talking about Baker Mayfield being bad, or being a problem. And guys, I have the same eyeballs you do. When he misses a guy slanting across the middle for a touchdown, it drives me crazy. But then you look at Ben Roethlisberger today. Not only did he miss a guy doing on that same exact play.
Yeah, I did see that.
But then he throws an interception on it. So
yeah, I did see that.
I think we all have to just relax and say, look, Baker's human. All quarterbacks in this league are. You look at guys who have fallen from grace in the NFL. Jameis Winston's out there. God, there's a bunch of guys out there who are just great. And look at Deshaun Watson. Everybody was saying he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and then this year kind of meh. So I think the good thing that we're seeing with Baker is he's proven that he doesn't have to be the guy. He doesn't have to be the one throwing 40 times for us to win, which is good. That's the exact opposite of what happens in Cincinnati. But then he is also capable of throwing 2 to 3 touchdowns a game and then handing the ball off. He had 3. He should have had 3 touchdowns in this last game. Harrison Bryant dropped the damn ball.
I don't know if you caught Baker's press conference today.
I haven't watched it yet. I will. I'm gonna watch it at some point, but haven't yet.
Yeah, it was. It was uneventful except for one point. I can't remember who asked him the question. But it just, trying to get out of him, those missed throws. The one to Jarvis at the pylon, and then the one to Richard. And he basically, said, those are throws I should make. We watched the tape, and it was, for both of them, I didn't set my feet the right way. And for the one with Richard, it was a high-low kind of thing, and I looked low before I looked high. And then by the time, it happened, I missed it, and my feet were out of whack. So I like that. We're seeing growth. We saw growth in the game. I mean, he threw some dimes that
unbelievable throws. The one to
absolutely.
Jarvis.
Oh yeah, and it's funny because, if you, and we're all guilty of how could you not make that throw, etc. But I mean, you look at the if he completes all those dimes that he did, and then he completes those easy ones in the end zone. I mean, now all of a sudden, we're anointing him like the greatest thing that's ever stepped between the lines, for the Cleveland Browns since Otto Graham. So it's that's not the case, and he's a work in progress. But I mean, you just as much as me. I mean, we were very hard on him, the first half of the year. But I mean,
Rightfully so.
and since the bye week, and we did have a couple of those weather games where he didn't we didn't pass had that many attempts, I should say. But regardless, I mean, we're seeing progress. He's I hope. I mean, as far as processing and reading, head and shoulders better in the second half. And I think if he can fix the streakiness with better mechanics, which we know he can, because he was an accurate passer in college.
Yep.
I think that if he then could put that together, I'd be, and I don't want to look too far ahead, but I'm excited to see what next year, after a season in this offense, with Van Pelt, with Stefanski, his full complement back next year.
That's the growth.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what that entails. And don't get me wrong. I mean, obviously, I'm excited to see us finish the year and make the playoffs and maybe make a little noise. And you know what? Even though the defense is really not very good, and the offense is streaky here and there. Tell me we're not one of those teams, though, that can get hot at the right second and could wreak a little havoc for some teams in the playoffs. I'm not saying they're going to get to the Super Bowl, but it wouldn't surprise me if they got in and shocked somebody in the first round.
You know what? Average and slightly above average teams have won Super Bowls before.
Absolutely.
That Eagles team was an average team.
They had no business, and I still hear about that. But some
of the Patriots teams, especially that first one.
Yeah. You know what's funny though, Mike, about the Eagles? I just wanted to throw this out there real quick. Talk about what have you done for me lately? Man, my friends and just acquaintances out here, they want Hurts to start, and they want Doug Peterson to pack his bags. It's amazing. I mean, this is a team like us that, I mean, they had gotten to a couple Super Bowls, but we're just dying to taste that ring.
Mm-hmm.
And they got it, and now a couple years removed, they just want to blow the whole damn thing up. And
in their defense, Carson wasn't the guy who got it. Peterson definitely was. I think the coaching job that he did was legendary for that playoff run with a backup quarterback, having Nick Foles play out of his damn mind.
And I think, and I think people don't realize how big of a part Frank Reich played, because when he left, that offense was
Yeah, and the funny thing is, what do the Eagles want? They had Andy Reid. They had Andy Reid for a while, who was, honestly, in terms of the last 15 years, in his generation of coaches, might be the best one.
I would agree with you, Mike.
He leaves, then they get Doug Peterson, and then unproven, and he just wins them a Super Bowl. Now, here's the thing. Carson Wentz has been, I mean, we saw him. He looked human. I mean, he looked beyond human. I don't know, it's all the injuries finally caught up with him, or his heart's not in it, or he doesn't have the team around him, or what is it? But, I mean, he wasn't, I mean, let's go back to that Eagles game. Carson Wentz he threw 2 bad picks.
Yeah.
And really, at the end of the day, that's kind of what it was, because it was 17-22. You take away one of those picks, one of those possessions, we don't get a field goal, and it was a coin flip.
Yeah.
So,
I think I think Howie Roseman's the problem there, and he goes. I can't see. I mean, he's got no weapons out there here, I should say. Um, I mean, they could have took DK Metcalf and they took a punt returner.
I'm still pissed we didn't. You
I
know,
know.
why we didn't take a flyer on him. And when the only thing I can think of is we're like, we got OBJ, we got Jarvis. Why do we need to throw in another guy? I'm like, because why not? You know, again, it frustrates me looking at these drafts because that was a guy that everybody looked at and said, you know, if it works, he's gonna be Hall of Fame. If it doesn't, then he doesn't. But if it works, it's gonna really work. And look what's happening.
Yeah.
So
The 3-cone drill isn't everything.
yeah,
He showed us.
and he's been able to stay healthy, which
Yeah.
was, I mean, that was the big thing with him with the broken back. You know, you're
Speaking
like,
of
what's gonna happen?
speaking of healthy, Mike, OBJ he's rehabbing the hell out of that thing. I was watching a video
Yeah,
today.
you see him on the treadmill and
Yeah.
on the, I guess, some kind of weird leg press machine. I mean, he certainly doesn't look like he's, you know, in playing shape by any means, but
No,
he's coming along.
he's coming along. I agree. Man, I've been through that, and that is trying to work that scar tissue out in the initial stages is it sucks.
Yeah, he's if for some reason we get to a situation where we get like a month where everything shuts down, you know, something like that, where they're like, we're just gonna we need to shut everything down. We can't move anymore. This COVID thing's getting out of control, and they shut down the NFL for a month or two. Say we're taking a break. I'm taking a break, guys. We're putting it on pause. There might be a scenario. There might be some scenario out there that OBJ actually makes it back just due to the progress that he's making right now.
One that you could create in your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything's possible with the power
Anything.
of pretend.
You know what? All of a sudden, you just brought. I feel like we're at the chocolate factory.
The magic school bus.
Yeah.
You know, you can just believe it into existence. I mean, nobody thought we would even get him in the first place. Why can't we be blessed with another miracle, a Christmas miracle?
A Christmas miracle.
Some would say.
Yeah.
That actually brings me to a good point, guys. You'll notice that down below, I've got that donate, the bit.ly/St. Jude Killi. I'm going to be going live on Friday, so 2 days from now. We're going to be doing a charity. I'm going to be going live from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. There's going to be a lot of video game playing because that's what it's all about. Play Live is you play games for an entire day. So I'm taking the day off work with like 30 of my coworkers. This is a program that I put together at my company and recruited all these people to participate in it. We have a goal of raising $10,000. I'm taking the brunt of that goal myself. I'm trying to get 10% of that and hopefully more. Add some early donators. Max Nikolenko, who's one of the Patreon guys, donated, and I got another anonymous one, so I don't even know who did it. But so we have, but I have 130, so I'm 13% of my way in, and I would certainly love it if anybody. I mean, I know we talk about the Patreon stuff and everything like that. I would much rather anybody who's considering doing Patreon or doing any donation to just donate directly to that for just for this Friday between now and then to help us raise that $10,000 for St. Jude. You know, it's a really important charity. It's something that's very near and dear to me, and I really genuinely hope that we can raise. And even if it's just $5-10, whatever you can do. You know, I know we all spend that kind of money just going to Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks basically every day anyway.
Very true.
You know, just throwing it at this would be fantastic. I try to make the link a little bit easier, but I'm gonna I'll put the link also in the chat for everybody. If anybody has it in their heart to go ahead and donate. And what actually happens? So I have my alert box set up for the donation. So if any donations happen, it'll be a big alert and big celebration will come across. You don't have to do it now. You can wait till Friday to when I'm live. Either way is great. Don't care how you do it. Just donate whenever you want. But we're trying to raise that $1,000. I'd really appreciate it if you guys could help us out because we have a little bit of a platform.
Most definitely.
Got retweeted by a billion. Basically, all of Brown's Twitter retweeted my video, which I really appreciate. And hoping that we can turn that into some money for St. Jude on Friday. Other than that, what are the birthday plans for the remainder of the evening?
So I know I got a nice dinner coming to me. Compliments of my beautiful wife, and some dessert. I hear a cake, and I do see some presents that she strategically put around the tree, and they're not Christmas presents; they're birthday presents. And so, yeah.
So you and I have an interesting birthday kind of relationship around Christmas. You're pre-Christmas.
Yeah.
And I am just after. So I'm January 13th, right after. Basically, so you're lucky because it's in the buying season. Everybody, the mentality right now is shopping, and it's right after the damn Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals. So you can actually do some damage in terms of savings on a gift for you on December 2nd, right?
Yeah.
Whereas me, it's like we just gave gifts. We just bought stuff for people. And we got to, 2.5 weeks later, we got to get you.
Now it's this guy's birthday. Are you kidding me?
And I always felt bad. I had a friend. I actually had 2 friends growing up who were born on Christmas.
Oof.
And then, I think the sad thing about that is like when you have brothers and sisters and stuff, it's like, okay, well, let's open the Christmas presents. And then later on, we're going to open birthday presents for you. And even Christmas Eve or the day after. It's all that's an ugly time to have a birthday. It really is.
How do you, I can't 12/27. That's not bad because you're a couple days after.
So Ben, that's a really good example, right? So Ben's got that 12/27. So he's right on the brunt of like we just celebrated gift giving, right? We're done with that. But now we got to go get Ben another gift. And Ben, I don't know if you got brothers or sisters or anything, but then they're going to when the kids are growing up, they don't understand, right? I don't get it. Aaron's 12/6, Keith is 12/12. So we're all kind of right around that spot.
A bunch of December birthdays in here.
But
I like
December people have a little bit more of an advantage than the January people. Oh, we just got a donation, and where's my alert box? There it is.
Nice.
I'm sorry, I didn't have the alert box. We caught it right at the end there. We caught it right at the end. It was I'll have to remember that for Friday. So this is a pilot. It's a test run.
This is crazy. 12/12, 12/27, 12/6. Aaron's brother is 12/9. I'm 12/2. My wife is 12/10. December birthdays everywhere.
Dude, they're everywhere. It's pretty crazy.
But you know what? To your point, Mike, though, I see what you're saying, and it was the same way. Like for me, having my birthday in the beginning of December, my birthday was like always a warm up to the actual Christmas presents. You know what I mean? Like it was like a little gift before the gift, if you will. But I could see how, like right after Christmas, people would be like, "Oh man, now we got to get more presents." Well, I tell you what, hey. Just so you know, we'll have the cake on the 28th or the 29th, but your birthday presents, we combine them with the Christmas presents. Does that happen? Does that happen?
Because you know what? Here's the deal. As a parent, right? I mean, I know what I go through. I'm the macro purchaser of gifts, meaning I'm the big gift guy. Don't bother me with the stocking crap. Don't bother me with like the little trinkety things. I am not interested in that. Victory Wednesday. By the way, we are going to be giving away a Victory Monday mug here on Wednesday. The Cleveland. Here's something you'll find funny.
I'm going to make these on Etsy, Mike.
You have to. So I've been talking to the Cleveland Clothing Company people. Cle Clothing. It's like a very weird way to say it. Cleveland Clothing Company. Been talking to them on Twitter quite a bit, and they're ecstatic because I'm like personally buying all of their damn mugs. And I finally was like, look, guys, I'm not asking you for anything, but can I at least get like a somewhat of a discount when I personally buy the mug
Right.
and send it to somebody in my audience? Can I just get a little bit of just free shipping, something? Right. So and they're like, oh yeah, you could have asked a long time ago. And I'm like, great. So they're going to help me. They're not giving it to us like Homage and Sabo. They actually give it. I'm physically purchasing the mug and sending it to you, so they're helping us out on that. But it was funny because the last one that I sent out, so I was on Quincy's show, his post game show, right after ours, and Quincy had like 500 people on there. I was like, Quincy, can I do a giveaway on your channel right now? He's like, okay. And I'm like, I want to give away a mug. And everybody was going nuts, and they were doing the numbers thing. And I was like, the numbers thing doesn't work really well like we do in chat, type 1 to 100. When you have 500 people in chat, it's almost impossible. So I was like looking. I was like, oh, this guy won it. And so anyway, so I went to buy the mug from Cleveland Clothing Co. And they always have discount codes. So they had a Black Friday discount code, which was BF 2020, right? So I was like, okay, cool. Well, I'm sure they're probably going to have a Cyber Monday one as well, right? So I did CM, Cyber Monday 2020, and boom, got to 20%. So I'm like, cool, I guessed it. I guessed the password, right? Saved myself 20%, boom. So then when I was talking to the Cleveland Clothing Co. people, they were going, they reached out and they said, hey, are you affiliated with Cleveland Magazine by any chance? And I was like, no, I didn't even know there was a Cleveland Magazine. And they were like, well, you used their promo code CM 2020, and we hadn't even released it yet. So, and it did really well. It blew up, and we're trying to figure out if we should attribute that to you or to Cleveland Magazine. And I was like, well, you should probably attribute it to me.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
But because I did put a post out, and I was like, use code CM 2020 to save money. I think I put a tweet out that said that. But it was really funny. And I told him, I was like, no, I just literally guessed it. I thought you would have a Cyber Monday one since you did a Black Friday. It just happened to work. And it was, I guess it was just a lucky guess.
Yeah.
But I told him, I was like, I love buying these mugs. I think they're awesome. These are the Mike Ristano mugs. For all intents and purposes, they're the Mike Ristano mugs. And I told him, I was like, that one that I sent to Australia, that one hurt. that bruised a little bit. My wife's like, what is it? Why? She's like, I don't mind like $10-15 every once in a while, but this is like $40 thing. What did you buy?
That was funny. Yeah, because I said, hey, Laura, do me a favor, because she's the one that has I'm still in the Stone Age with like PayPal.
Yeah, I said I don't do Venmo either.
Yeah, so I said, Laura, send some money over to Mike's wife for the shipping.
Our wives are connected on Venmo now.
Right,
Venmo friends. The Browns bring us together, but the Venmo brings the wives.
The wives together, all because of this shipping.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he got it yet, but he's one heck of a good guy.
Yeah,
so
he really is.
I'm glad that he got it. Yeah, so should we do the mug giveaway now? We've been kind of talking about it for the last 5 minutes. I guess why not? No better time to do it. There's one dude on Twitter. I don't know if he's here now, but he was like hitting Santino Torres was blowing me up, saying like, I want a mug, I want a free mug. And I'm like, just watch the show. We're gonna give one away, and there's only like 25 people in here, and out of the 25, I think only like 10 people put in numbers, so you got like 1 in 10 chance to win. But here we go, 1 to 100 now for the Victory Monday mug.
This is exciting.
Let me put in my number. What would be a fun number to do? Got my number in. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I love giving away these Victory Monday, but honestly, I do look forward to it. There we go. New subscriber. Santino's here.
There he is.
Santino's a new subscriber. You guys like the alert boxes popping up? Right?
Wow. All I have to say is wow.
Got the alert box coming in. I always have that turned off because I feel like it's so distracting because it's like a gamer thing. It's not really like a talking thing. Oh no, did we lose Mike?
Mike.
Oh, there you are. You froze for a second.
There you are.
I
So you thought you lost me, and I thought we lost you.
I saw you took a sip, and I was like, he froze. Oh no. But the alert box thing is a little bit of a gamer thing. But I'm like, well, since I'm doing the donation, the thing for St. Jude, yeah, I want to put it up there because it'll alert me. Because I'm not going to be watching it the whole time. I'm going to be playing games. So I'm going to be playing Warzone. I'm going to be playing with Cleveland Cam. I was trying to play with Quincy, but Quincy's going to be out. He's not going to be home on Friday. I don't know what he's doing, but he was like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be around.
Did I tell you that I was telling Laura, I'm going to start getting back into gaming. It's been so long. But everybody does it. You do it. You talk about it all the time. Like, you know what? I'm going to figure out how to be able to move that stupid guy and be able to shoot and look right and look left and be.
You got to get a keyboard and mouse, man. You got to play on PC.
See, I can't do the PC because I got the PS4. I'm trying to, if I could ever beat the bots and get a PS5.
Well, you can hook a mouse and keyboard up to PS5 and PS4 now. That exists. It's possible. And I'm telling you, I see these guys that are playing with controller, and I'm like, I can't do it. But by the way, it looks like Santino's here.
But he hasn't put a
Santino,
number in yet.
I don't see a number, man. So let me just say it again. I guess we kind of say it because I don't even tell the rules anymore about how to do it because I figured people just know it. But Santino, you got to put in a number between 1 and 100. You'll notice everybody's typing in numbers. Put a number in between 1 and 100 for your chance to win. I don't pick it randomly. I just pick because I have a number that I have already put in, and when we're done, when everybody's in there, I'm going to hit enter and we're going to go. Right. So I'm going to wait for Santino to actually put his number in chat. And then I'll hit go because I think he's probably the last one. So, Santino, you can't win unless you put the number in.
How many winners have we had so far, Mike? With two?
Two. We had Mary and who was the second one?
What? Oh, and
David. David. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just talking about that. So David and Mary had won. Santino's in. Santino. Sorry. Okay, his number is in. The number was 77. So Santino, man, you were damn close to it.
Really close.
But Kid Wilson hit it on the head.
He really did. When he typed that in, I thought, wow.
I was like, oh.
That's why you and I sort of chuckled about 5 minutes ago.
Santino, you got it in there. Okay, here's the deal though. And I don't know if I have permission to do this or not. But for anybody who wants to buy it, I think it's like $12. It's $12 mug. It's not the end of the world, and shipping's like $3. But if you use code MK20. So when you're buying it from them, use code MK20 to save 20%. And you can buy yourself a mug and save shipping essentially. So it'll cost you $12 basically, and you get it. Or just if we win, keep winning, come back, and eventually you might get a chance to win it. Had more people in here trying to win it this week. I think that's awesome.
And then eventually, you get yourself one of these.
Then you get the Etsy one.
And then you just every day is a damn victory day. Like tomorrow, this will be Victory Thursday.
Oh, Kid Wilson says he passes.
Ooh.
So that actually might make Santino win.
I think it does.
11, 20.
The best, the one lowest that doesn't go over?
Well, yeah, because he had 75, right?
And we got a 79. So is it Price is Right rules?
No.
The closest without going over? How does that work?
I'm looking at the numbers now. And I want to be fair to everybody. Right, so if we look at who got close, Alvary Doe with a 79,
yep.
Rick Adkins with an 80, and Santino with a 75.
So we got two away on the front side. We got two away on the back side. So how does that work?
I think it's a playoff.
I like that.
I think we have to do the playoff. I think Albury, I know you're saying you can give it to him, but let's do this. Let's do the playoff, and let's see what happens. Because I'm curious anyway. He might might win it outright.
I like this.
You know, and Albury, if you win, then and you want to give it to him, I'll allow it. Out of the goodness, this is a spirit of giving. It's a birthday day. We've got St. Jude's spirit of giving, Christmas spirit of giving coming up. So if you want to, you can. So right now, between Alvarado and Santino Torres, give me a 1 to 100, just you guys. Give me a 1 to 100 now. I'm going to put in my number. I have not looked at anything yet.
Watch them put the same number in.
All right, put in your number, guys. Kid Wilson, thank you very much for being a good sport with us. Okay, Alvarez in. And Santino, if he's still here, he's got to put in his... And the number was 50. Boom. Santino wins.
He called it on Twitter. He wanted it, and he came in.
It delivered. He got it. He got his mug.
And he took it.
Boom. Shakalaka. Santino.
That is how it's done.
Congratulations.
That is how it's done.
Congratulations, man. How rare that happens that you're like, I'm here to win it.
Yeah.
He showed up and he dropped a number that was close.
Babe Ruth pointed, took a shot. Rest is history.
Dude won it in overtime legitimately. It was not, Kid Wilson gave him a little bit of charity, but hey, that's what this is all about. The Brownie postgame, the Brownie postgame family and the Brownie postgame chat is all about, taking care of yourself, take care of others. Kid Wilson has won in the past. Kid Wilson, what did you win before? Did you win a shirt? I'm pretty sure we sent you a shirt. Now donate, Santino. End up donate and watch him donate like $20, which he could just got the mug. I've won 3 times and passed twice the homage shirt. All right, kid, next time you win, you just got to win, man. I appreciate the sentiment, but I'm almost going to say, like, fine, if Kid Wilson wins, we'll do another one just so I can make sure I give him stuff. He's here every time. He's one of the old school OG Brownie postgame guys. So I appreciate that. Okay, Santino, send me a message. If you want to just send me actually, we're going to do it the real way because I get confused when people start sending me DMs and stuff on Twitter. Santino, send me a email to browniepostgame@gmail.com with your address. Send it now, and I'll mail you out the mug today. Brownie postgame@gmail.
Spirit of giving.
Boom. Santino, send me out your address to that email address, and we'll get you your mug. It was a funny thing. I tried to get that mug out to Mary, with expedite shipping, expedited shipping, and it didn't get to her till like late on Monday, which kind of bites. But
the late cup of coffee.
Yeah, Santino, you're getting regular shipping, buddy. Because I think it gets there the same day anyway. I don't think there's any difference.
Yeah, I would agree. You know what I did find too is I've purchased a few things the past couple days, and 'tis the season because I ordered something from GV Artwork like last night at like 11, and that thing I got a shipped notice this morning at like 9:30. So everybody's on top of it. So you figure it's Wednesday. There's a chance that he'll be drinking out of that mug next Monday after we take care of the Titans.
It might not be Monday morning.
No, but sometime.
But sometime on Monday, he may be drinking it.
And I gotta tell you,
no next day air.
You know what?
I don't think there's not even I would have done it for Mary. If there was next day air, I would have, because she's awesome. Ohio Doggy on Twitter, and I didn't even know it was her. And she was like, "Oh, I won the mug." I was like, "Oh my gosh, I know who you are on Twitter. You know what? Another thing is really funny. Another story before I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No.
so I put out my tweet about the St. Jude thing, and I had my video explaining what it was and everything, and just got retweeted by all. I reached out to a bunch of people who had a big following. I'm like, can you please help me out with this? And a guy that I work with sent me a message. He was like, dude, I've been following you for years, and I didn't realize we work at the same company.
That's funny.
Oh, it was awesome. And yeah, his name is Jay, and he was like, hey man, I was like, I'm a fan. I've been following you for a long time on Twitter. I can't believe this. I didn't realize he's based out of Cincinnati. And I was like, hey man, I'll talk to you on Slack. So we started chatting about the Browns all the rest of the day. Yesterday we were just like chatting on Slack about the Browns.
That's funny.
Yeah, so
it's a small world, right?
It's honestly, Browns Twitter, awesome, Santino. I'll get that out to you right after the show's over, and I'll send you a confirmation and everything. But it's Browns Twitter is just a crazy place. The passion that we see there, and I've really only been a part of it for like 2 years, not even 2 years. I won't even say not even 2 years have I been like big into Browns, because I was on Browns Reddit, and then before that, were you on? Do you ever remember the old forums, the Bernie's Insiders?
I remember them from you and I having discussions, but I was never a Reddit guy.
So I feel like
my brother is
so Bernie's Insiders was then bought by like 24/7 Sports. So now it's like the 24/7 Sports, same forum, same everything, but it's part of their network.
Basically, they were like the original OBR, so to speak.
Sort of, yes. But it was like they just bought a bunch of like popular forums that were out there and then weaved them into their own network. But Bernie's Insiders is the one that I was always on, and it was great. I mean, they would do like goats and game balls, which is cool. Like they talk about, it was just like a cool place to hang out, to talk to Browns fans.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, it just got really, those old school forums got weird. And then I went over to Reddit and was on there quite a bit. And in the beginning, Reddit was awesome. Like they were cool. We were talking about the Browns, and now they don't let you do anything cool anymore. They don't let you, like the memes there's no memes. There's no like interesting content. It's all basically like Mary Kay tweets and like Daryl Ryder tweets. And I'm like, okay, so you're just like, you just basically just serve up what the Browns media is saying.
Right.
That's all they're doing. I'm like, it's 80% of what's on their sub. And I'm like, screw it. I told him, I was like, I'm not posting here. I'm not posting my content here anymore. So see ya. I'm going to go build my own thing on Twitter.
You know what's funny? You talk about the media, etc. I find it funny that the Ravens lose to the Steelers tonight, and they got the Titans coming up, and of course, Florio has to put out this article about an hour ago. The Browns aren't bashful about talking playoffs, and it starts out, you've heard the coach speak and assorted cliches by now and over again. Football coaches and teams take their seasons one game at a time, blah, blah, blah. And basically saying, that's what the Browns do. But then they say, after Sunday's win over the Jaguars, receiver Jarvis Landry acknowledged to PFT that the team has been talking playoffs. And the quote is, pretty much all the time, he said, definitely something that we mention a lot. And goes on to talk about they're constantly looking for lessons to be learned from their game film mistakes, yada yada. So it was just a general comment that Jarvis made, like and of course, Mike Florio and his Pro Football Talk machine has to turn that into like I don't want to say a knock on us, but trying to stir a little bit up, wouldn't you think?
Oh, yeah. Every time I listen to those press conferences, I'm like, they're either the dumbest questions or they're questions that are aimed at creating controversy. It pisses me off. I'm sure it pisses off a lot of other fans, as I've seen on Twitter.
Yep.
It just doesn't. I think. So here's the you and I can talk about it. We can give our opinions. We can be negative about people, because we don't really. There's not really any consequence to us as long as we're not doing anything that could potentially impact, our livelihoods in general. But those guys, they literally get paid to do what we're doing right now, and to report and break stories, and that's the only thing that they're allowed to write about. And with that, there's some guardrails that are put on it, because if they start really shitting on a player or a coach or the owner, they can have their press pass and their credentials pulled. So now they're not allowed to ask questions. So they have to either ask softball stuff, or if you're somebody like Mary Kay or Grossi, who's just been around for forever, then
Grossi's lucky, after that comment about Baker and
very.
like to think, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but I would have forgot what I was going to say. But to think that he survived the direct message that almost wasn't, that about Randy Lerner, if you remember, and he got slapped on the hand then.
Mm-hmm.
And actually that cost him the Cleveland.com gig, remember?
I honestly don't remember. I remember there was some controversy, but I couldn't remember what it was.
Yeah, he tweeted something. He thought he was sending a direct message to somebody else media related about Randy Lerner, and instead, because he was sort of new at the tweeting game, if you will, at that time, and he sent it out as a tweet and he deleted it. But as you know, there's no such thing.
Oh, no.
And so that's how he got fired from Cleveland.com. And then ESPN Cleveland picked him up, and he was on the straight and narrow until he got caught on that hot mic talking about Baker, and he still has those credentials. I find it interesting. You wonder if he doesn't have the show with Jim Donovan and close with him, if they would have just taken them away.
I think they're just waiting for that guy to just retire. I mean, him and Mary Kay are probably like two of the most hated people in Cleveland media, and then on a national level, they're irrelevant.
He's so nonchalant. Like, I don't know. Have you if you think of previous years, Tony Grossi, and then you hear him like asking Kevin Stefanski questions in the press conference, like it's the most bizarre, casual. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's like bizarre. Like it'd be like, yeah, Kevin, what did you tell the guys to eat for breakfast this morning?
Exactly.
And then, you know what I mean? And then Kevin will be like, well, we had sausage and eggs and a toast. All right, thank you. And then that's the end until he asks the next stupid question.
Right. And
but it's just so weird. It's so casual.
I think you love watching the press conferences. I will eventually get to them because it's Brown's content, and I want to see if they say something interesting. They almost never do. And now this season, I don't even know if you noticed it, but now Baker's just like, he's just making a mockery of it because he has to talk to the press. So now he's dropping like retro rap lyrics.
The skim milk one. I thought that was rather funny.
I mean, that's what he's doing now. He's like, all right, well, if I have to do this and you guys are idiots, let me just troll you while I'm doing it. Right. And so, because you look at it and you're like, they're not asking him. It's not like they're asking him about the Cheesecake Factory incident.
No,
they're not asking him about anything that actually matters that people like you and me would care to hear.
Yeah. He subtly, writer today, he asked Baker, what do you say? What do you think about, this matchup of Henry versus Chubb or whatever? And Baker got like really serious and was like, yeah, I think you forgot Kareem Hunt there. And then that was it. And it was, I thought that was
Next
kind of
question.
funny. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, first of all, how his last name is actually pronounced Reiter is a miracle to me. because that it's like none of those letters equate to writer. But and I don't know. I think it's just a weird thing. But that guy's I don't know. I don't read his stuff. Um,
You know, it's hard to read. I mean, any of their stuff anymore. And you correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think that they're like it's not like it used to be like in the old days before social media and before the internet became so prominent.
mhm.
It was, the beat guys, quote unquote, like
Yep.
the Grossies and the Mary Kays,
Rizzo.
Rizzo, all those guys. There wasn't a quick link to national media back then. So, you know, the stories that they broke back then, they literally were breaking those stories
Yep.
because they
They
were
had
on the beat.
access.
They had
Right.
access in that town. And now, with the way social media is and internet access, etc., it's like they're still the beat writers, but they're not getting that shit. I mean, it's the people that have the direct line into the Rappaport and Schefter and
Yep.
the guy on Fox. I forget his name sometimes. The UFC guy, um, Glazer,
Yeah, Jay Glazer.
like that. Those are the guys that are breaking the stories. And I guess to button up what I was saying is the stories that they actually write anymore is just basically regurgitating shit that the guys that I just named have broke.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So it's like, why am I going to read your article when you're I just read that article in a tweet with 120 characters.
Yeah. You know what the funny thing is? I think now with social media, it's almost like the job is too big for one individual person,
Yeah,
right? Because in order to actually just really absorb everything going on with it, you have to be monitoring not only all the players, the coaches, everything, but then also have a direct line into those people. And a lot of these guys that are that are on the Browns, are they're going to be here for a year, maybe two. That's not long enough to build a relationship with any of these media people. Why the heck would they want to give them a story, something like that,
yeah.
right? They can just go out there and tweet it themselves, and they've got more followers than the beat writers do. They
Yeah,
can they
and
can be their own media. They don't need the media. They don't have to trust that the media is going to tell the story that they want them to tell when they can go directly to the audience like you and me.
yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because I was just reading the chat while you were making that point, and it's funny because Kid Wilson's talking about going to the grocery store to get cheat codes for Tiger Woods golf from magazines, and a quick funny story to go along with that. Man, I remember when I was younger, and like if you remember Metal Edge magazine, that was like the rock magazine back in the day, especially like when I was a kid. And right when like AOL came out, Metal Edge had like a section in the back, and it was like, hey, here are some of quote unquote rock stars of the time. Here's their AOL handles, and like they literally would publish that. And back then, and later on in life, I actually had a couple of friends that actually worked with this particular band, and then worked with this particular person, with their solo career, and I got to mingle and all that kind of stuff. But back then, I had gotten Tommy Lee AOL name, and I mean, you're young back then. I mean, the internet was just a thing,
Yeah,
and I go on AOL and
shoot him an IM.
I shoot him an IM. The next thing you know, I'm bullshitting with Tommy Lee from Motley Crue. And then the next thing you know, he's leaving me tickets and backstage passes, and we're hanging out in Philly at different concerts. And I'm bringing T-shirts for his son who was tiny at the time. But
That's
it's
unbelievable,
just,
dude.
yeah, it's just unbelievable. And it's funny because kids today don't understand like how that all evolved. Like it didn't like one day, like I'll never forget the time we went to a doctor's appointment, and we were walking down the hall, and there happened to be a uh, a payphone in the middle of the hallway at this one doctor's office, and they just never got rid of it. And we were walking down, and my daughter at the time, she must have been, I don't know, 11, 10,
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, "Oh my God, like what is that?" And I'm like, "That's how I used to call your grandmother." And then, like, I explained like the dime, and then or the call to collect real quick and then hang up or whatever.
Yep.
Like her mind was blown. Like and I guess the point I'm making is like for like the young people today, they don't understand, you know, prior. Um, I mean, it'd be like you and I, like, picking up an Alexander Graham Bell telephone, and like it's just bizarre to me. Like the steps, I guess what I'm getting at, to get to where we are today, i.e., when it was new, and hey, there's Tommy Lee's AIM name, and the next thing you know, like, I got a relationship with the dude. I mean, it's just
Wow.
wild
And it was
how that works.
the funny thing is that it was like actually him and not like some PR person or not like some temporary handle,
Yeah,
right? And then he was also like, "Hey, let's be cool." But he was
yeah,
probably because he probably recognized that you were actually a drummer and you're actually like, one of his type people too.
dude,
That probably helped.
hilarious. And at first, like, you're like, this really isn't him, and it's new back then. So, like, send a picture or whatever. Like, yeah, that's Tommy Lee. And I mean, it's just I mean, it was wild. Like, we
Wow.
met him at the Letterman show, like in the early '90s and shit. It was crazy.
That was like peak Tommy Lee. That was like Pam
Yeah.
Anderson Tommy Lee time.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. Yep. And
Yeah,
and
he used to go on
Nikki
Stern
was
a lot.
Yep, and Nikki was with Donna D'Errico from Baywatch at the time.
Yeah, dude, that guy survived. Like it's a miracle that either of those two guys are still alive with the things that
It
they've done.
Oh my God, yeah. And it's funny because you look in the chat and everybody, Lace Nix is breaking out the Commodore 64. It's funny, again, you go back to, we could play video games on our telephone today. I remember there was a I mean, it's not even a freaking video game. It was a computer game, Mike, and it was like the greatest baseball game. You might remember this. It was a little before your time, but maybe some of the guys in the chat will remember this. But it was for the computer, and you didn't even see anything happening. It
I know
was
what you're talking about. The one that was just text based.
it would just tell you what was going on, and then you would print out the box sheets at the end, and like you
Yeah.
had like a binder, and you're going through your box sheets, seeing your box score to see like who was 3 for 4 and who was leading in the home runs, whatever.
Yep.
And I mean, if they could look back on what we did back then, prior to, like, asteroids and those Bobo machines, I remember my dad brought home, where there was like one line, another line, and like something that resembled a ball
Yep.
that just kept going back and forth, and you
Dude,
flipped the switch to something else.
Atari just tweeted out today that they have like this really like super nice Pong portable Pong machine that they're
Yes,
releasing.
Pong.
And
That's wild.
I do remember that game, the game that you were talking about, because my uncle, I'm sorry, he wasn't an uncle, he was a cousin, but he was like
Yeah.
my dad's age, so it was my dad's cousin. And he was the guy who was like into computers and Dungeons and Dragons, and he was like kind of that guy.
Yeah.
And he just kind of like the comic book guy from The Simpsons, sort of like
Yeah.
that sort of dude.
I was a D&D guy.
Yeah, me too. And he so he kind of got me into the internet in the late 80s, early 90s, like, right when people were dialing up.
Yeah.
And I remember that game because it was like, he was like, I have every baseball team ever. He's like, what was your favorite baseball team ever? And I was like, well, 86 Mets. He's like, all right, so let's take the 86 Mets and play them against the 56 Yankees. And let's see what happens. And I'm like, well, you can do that? And he's like, yeah, absolutely.
That was the game.
And it would be all text based, and you could play pitch by pitch, right? So you could actually like hit enter, and it would be the pitch, and it would say it was what happened during that. So you've got
sit
like
there like this, like just waiting, like, oh my God, what's it gonna say? What's it gonna say?
It was almost like for the only way I could actually like relate to today, if you don't actually have the football game, and you're watching the live Gamecast on like ESPN or something, ESPN.com.
Yes.
It's very similar to that. And
Absolutely.
I remember him telling me specifically, he's like, sometimes it's just about the way that you press the enter button. Just
Oh
like
my
if you
God,
just
that's
touch
great.
it, something, or if you like slam it. But man, those were the games that were just like crazy back in the day.
Yeah. And I
And
don't know
now it's
how I
like,
got us into this, but
I mean, the stuff that they're doing now, and this is like, I tell the story about, I'm big into gaming. The two passions in life outside of family and all that kind of stuff is the Browns and gaming, right? Those are the two things. And I can't play sports anymore. My knees wouldn't allow me to do it anyway, even if I wanted to. But I just couldn't do it at this point in life. I'm only 5'9". It's not like I was going to go pro in anything anyway.
Right.
And so gaming is kind of that way for me to be competitive and still have fun with stuff like that. And Santino, he did it. Oh, Santino, thanks, dude. I appreciate it. So just so everybody knows, Santino could have gone and bought the mug himself, but instead he gives me $20. Well, not me, but St. Jude $20. Dude, Santino, you are a legend, man. That is
great.
Legendary.
That is legendary.
No, I love that. Maybe I'll send Santino. What if I sent you 2 mugs? How about I do that? But yeah. So anyway, what I was saying, my cousins when I was old, I had older cousins. They were like, like 10 years older than me, cousins, right? In the 80s. So they were like early teenagers when I was like 4 or 5. They were like, 13, 14. Yeah. And Atari and all that stuff was out. And this is like 1983, 84. And we go to my uncle's house in New Jersey and, for Christmas and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they would go in my uncle's room and they'd play Atari with like, my uncles and stuff would all be in there playing Atari. And my uncle had every Atari game. And when I say every game, almost every game. And then for a long time, he kept them. So every time I would go there, after a while, I would eventually was old enough to play, and they wouldn't let me play. And I was like 4 years old. I was like, please let me try this. And they're like, get out of here. You're not old enough.
Get out of here, kid.
Great. So, but that was when it all started. I was like, I want to do that. And now with the crazy stuff, I mean, man, for Christmas, I'm building my daughter another like supercomputer.
Oh, you are going to do that.
I'm building it.
You're doing it.
I had a good quarter. So
there you go.
We had a good quarter, and my wife and I were like, you know what? This might be the last year that we only really have to buy presents for 2 kids, because like the babies, she's gonna get little baby things, and the grandparents are gonna buy the baby a lot of stuff. So like we were really only buying presents for 2, but next year we're gonna have to buy them for 3. So like let's make this last year the one that we kind of like
the splurge. Epic one.
We splurge. Yeah. And I see my daughter and my son playing games. We play games and stuff together. My son won't play Call of Duty with me anymore. He won't do it. He wants me to play Fortnite. I freaking hate Fortnite because I can't build the buildings. Because you have to. That's a skill in that game, and I can't do it. It's almost like you're saying like controller and stuff like that. How difficult that is for you. It's like Greek to me. I can't do it. Really? But I can play the heck out of Call of Duty. But my daughter, who's 7, who plays a lot of Overwatch, she is like, I want to play Call of Duty with you. And we tried, but the computer just couldn't quite handle it. It's a new AAA game, and that computer that she has is like mid-tier 2013-ish, So it's just not gonna. It's just at the level where it's not keeping up.
Yeah.
So building her a new one, and
That's
just passing that along. And because I asked them, I was like, do you guys want a PS4 or an Xbox? I was like, I'll track one down if you guys want one for Christmas. They're like, no, we don't. We just want computer stuff.
Can you track one down for me?
Okay, so yesterday, interestingly, so I'm in this Discord. Oh, what is this Discord called? It's
the same one that's the app that we had the fantasy football on.
Yes. So there's a Discord channel called Stock Informer US.
Yeah.
And it has all of the different stuff. So I guess there's 2 different Nintendo Switches, a gray and a neon, that are hard to come by. The Ryzen chips, the Radeon cards, and the NVIDIA, and then PS5 and Xbox. And as soon as they go up,
download this again.
You probably should. But they did it yesterday. So there was an Xbox Series X console that went up, at at uh at like 2, no, I'm sorry, Eastern time. It was like it was like 1:01 p.m. and I was in a meeting,
Yeah.
or a meeting. I'm sorry, I had a 1 o'clock meeting that just started, and I saw the alert and I clicked on it, and it. Usually these alerts are going to Amazon. This one actually was going to Microsoft.com. So I was like, oh, Microsoft is releasing a big stack of them. I go to Microsoft, boom, it's available. Boom, put it in the cart, and I'm like, holy crap, I'm gonna buy an Xbox Series X, a $499 retail price, and I couldn't check out. It
That's what
just
happened to me. I
couldn't
think
check out.
it's the bots. I went on Walmart both both times. Well, remember last week we tried too, because it was 9 o'clock on Wednesday. Remember, and I
Yeah.
I had it in the cart. Laura had it in the cart, and then just when you think you're trying to check out, it holds you up, and then it's like this. Thank you, and it takes it out of the cart and says, "Sorry, out of
Well,
stock now."
this one was doing like it kept it in my cart, but it kept saying error message, and I'm like, all right, well, damn it. I was like, I was, and the kids didn't even want it. I was just gonna get it for somebody else, so I was gonna go out to my, you know, sphere of influence, like you yourself. If you wanted
Right.
one, I would have been like, here, I'm like, I'll just pay for shipping and I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to find one, but and my son was like, I think I want the PS5 over the Xbox, but I don't know. I mean, like, to be honest, they're playing they're playing on their computers 90% of the time. He's got a PS. My kids have the PS4, the Switch, and the Xbox. A lot of it because ultimately, when you have a dad who's me,
Yeah.
we might give them the consoles as like the gift, but it was like I want to have them for me, and because like at this point in life, I'm not going to bars anymore.
Right.
I'm not
That's
doing
past
any
you by now.
I'm not doing anything anymore, you know. But I have expendable income at this point because I'm older, and $500. While it's a lot of money, it's not it's not going to put me in the poorhouse. So I'm like, yeah, I'll
No.
get one if I want it, and yeah, so these kids are getting this stuff. But I do sometimes wonder. I'm like, and you've got older kids, right? How old are your daughters? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, no, they are 17. They're both seniors in high school.
Boom. Okay. So you're right. You're getting to the point of what
Oh,
I was saying.
I'm in uh college applications out the wazoo. School pictures, Mike.
Mm.
School pictures, right? Senior pictures for two kids. I had a coupon, and it still came out to $750
Dude, I'm not.
for pictures.
I'm not getting down with that, man. I'm worried about it though. I'm worried because I mean, I can't imagine what the prices are going to be in. Well, my son just turned 10, so 8 years from now, and then 12 years for my daughter, and then I got a whole freaking another one.
Yeah.
It's like when my wife and I, she was an only child, and she was like, I really want to have 3 kids. I really want to have 3 kids. We're getting older now, and we're like, I don't know if we should do this. Like, blah blah blah. Is it?
You did it.
Can we do this? I mean, it's been like, it's the first kid comes out, and you're like, it's crazy time, but it's your first kid, so you're excited, and all that stuff. And then we have the second one, and we're like, okay, cool. Now we have 2, and then we're good to go. We're still young. We can deal with not sleeping for 6 months. But now with this last one, I was like, dude, I don't have it anymore. It's gone. I don't have the ability to do this. Like I'm too old. I'm too old for this shit. But no. But we were just looking at my daughter today. Now she's like walking around and talking and stuff like that. And I'm like, we would have felt a little bit incomplete without that last one, I think. And
Yeah.
But it's crazy. It's like she's gonna be ready for her computer soon, and her first one. And these kids are gonna be gamers. And my son's got a YouTube channel that's got almost as many subscribers as this one.
Wow.
And he's 10. it's just cool stuff. So, but hey, man, I don't want to keep you. I know that you got to go, and I know we could go for another hour or two if you want.
We really could. Like I lost track of what time it was.
I just looked at it. I was like,
yeah, and I'm like, how's it 8:30? Right? I didn't even get to tell everybody how Pitfall was my jam back in the day. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that next time.
Definitely, dude. Definitely. Well, hey, Mike, happy birthday again, man.
Thank you. And
I appreciate you coming on and spending the time and taking some time on your birthday to join us for the Wednesday show.
Oh, yeah. You know me. I'd never miss it.
And everybody, thank you guys in chat. Kid Wilson's in here. Keith C., Ryan Burlow, Santino, the man, Santino, with his victory mug. And he got it, and then he donated $20, man. I think that's amazing. I think that's awesome. So congratulations, dude. And for anybody else who didn't win, if you want to buy one, go ahead and use that code MK20. I'll take it on the nose from them, because I told them, I was like, I'm not going to give it out to anybody. I'm just going to use it. But whatever, they sell more mugs. I don't know, who cares?
Yeah,
they do promo codes. It's the holiday season. They're going to give away discounts. Whatever.
Right, 'tis the season.
And if what they need to do is they need to actually like give it to us, and we give it out even more. All that kind of stuff.
They'll be selling mugs till the cows come home, as they say.
Yeah, and if you guys are following me on Twitter, I'm going to be live again on Friday for a couple hours, for 12 hours on Friday. I'm going to be gaming. I would love for you guys to hang with me and share out all my tweets and stuff about it. I would really love to get to this goal of $1,000. I think we're going to do it. I think we should be able to get there. But who knows? We'll see what happens. And I think it'll be fantastic.
Yeah.
So if you could help me out, even if you can't donate, just share it out there and tell your friends to donate, because it's a good cause. And
good cause.
It'd be cool to do. So, all right, guys, we are 8-3. We talked about the Browns. We talked about other stuff as well. It's Mike's birthday, so I got to let him go. But big game this week in Tennessee. We'll be back next week for the Wednesday show once again.
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody, for checking it out. And again, thank you for all the birthday wishes. It means a lot. And hopefully next Wednesday we drank out of the mug on Monday. Oof. We're 9-3, and I'm drinking a little bourbon out of this bad boy.
I'll tell you
Victory Wednesday.
That will be an incredible feeling for 9-3.
Oh, yeah.
My body isn't ready for it.
No, I hear you. It wasn't ready for 8-3.
No, it wasn't. When I was running around, I've been paying the price for that.
I saw you. I was going to mention it earlier when you were talking about your knees. I was going to say, you look pretty good with the flag.
Oh, man, the knees hurt. The body is in bad shape. The McRib today didn't help.
You know what?
I paid the price for that, bro.
You had to pay the price. And I'm not trying to prolong here, but somebody literally, I shit you not, like 40 minutes before you tweeted that out, somebody tweeted a picture of the McRib, like
frozen,
all slabbed together and frozen.
Yeah.
And basically, like, they were like, oh, look at this disgusting piece of shit. And I was like, oh man, look at that. But I love the McRib. And then literally, like 40 minutes later, you're like, all right, here we go with the picture of the McRib. And I was like, man, what are the odds of this?
Dude, somebody, I think I saw that exact tweet. It was like that brick. Yeah. It was like the frozen brick.
It looked like layers, like a brick. Like you could just stack them.
Yeah. And I sat there and I was like, they were like, well, we haven't come out with this since 2012. People didn't think it was ever going to come back. I couldn't even remember what it tasted like. I was like, I think I could probably, probably took about 20 minutes off my life. Eating that today. And honestly,
that's not the time spent on the bowl either.
Dude, I haven't had any toilet based issues today yet, but I will tell you, it was almost instantly after I got done eating it, I started feeling bad. And I was like, oh, my energy was sapped, and I had meetings.
I believe it after seeing that frozen thing.
And I was like, oh, this is a bad idea. And I was like, I'm just going to suffer through this. I just got to make it to like 5, and then I can eat a real meal, and then we do the Wednesday show, and then whatever. But I struggled. I will never do that again. Ever. I learned my lesson.
You'll McPass next time.
Maybe if it comes out in another 10 years, I'll be like, all right, I can afford to have one bad afternoon.
That could be that one cholesterol point that puts you 6 feet under.
Right over. It's like, that was it.
That's it.
All right, guys, we got to go. Thank you
All
guys for
right.
hanging out. Santino, thank you for the donation. Everybody, we'll see you next Wednesday. And also, pre and post game shows, obviously, this Sunday for the Titans game, which hopefully we're going to win and be 9-3. So, all right, Mike, again, happy birthday. And we will see you guys next Wednesday. Go
Sounds good.
Browns.
Go Browns.